Smoke is rising from the fields of Punjab, not just Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh as well, fueling a toxic haze that threatens to blanket the capital Delhi and its surrounding regions. In the last 7 days alone, 56 farm fire cases have been reported in Punjab, with 13 FIRs registered under Section 223 of the BNS. Environmental fines of over 1 lakh rupees were imposed in 24 cases. Yet, enforcement remains patchy. In the last 24 hours, 8 new incidents have already pushed this season's total beyond last year's numbers, even as floods continue to affect the state of Punjab. The Supreme Court of India has called for strict action against farmers who indulge in crop stubble burning, even suggesting criminal prosecution and a separate legislation. The centre, however, insists on persuasion rather than punishment, arguing that farmers must be taken along and not penalized. Experts warn that despite massive funding and repeated directives, crop stubble burning continues year after year, creating a severe public health crisis, triggering respiratory diseases and worsening air quality across Delhi and the national capital region. As the debate heats up between taking a hard line or following a softer approach, one question looms large. Will the government be able to curb these fires in time? Or will Delhi-NCR or Delhi and the national capital region once again find itself under a thick, choking blanket of smog? We have Dr. Vibha Dhawan, Director General Terry, now joining us on the broadcast for that big story. We also have Chandra Bhushan, President and CEO of iForest, with us on the broadcast. Thank you both of you for taking time out to be with us. Dr. Vibha Dhawan, I'm going to begin by asking a very simple question. You know, this is a choice between the devil and the deep blue sea. One way or the other, we have to ensure that season after season, you're not throwing crores of people into danger, literally, direct danger, because of the number of people who already suffer from respiratory diseases and the others who can contract it during this season. Every year, people of Delhi and the national capital region are sitting ducks.
You're absolutely right. And in fact, whenever you talk to even outsiders and they talk about that coming to India in the month of October is not advisable. And for us also, it is somewhere that do we really deserve it, or is Delhi a livable city? Now let's come to that what happens, like why these forest fires. We have to look at the root cause and look for a permanent solution. First of all, I personally feel no amount of policing is going to help us, because it can be shown as an accident rather than that it has been done intentionally by the farmer. So therefore, we have to take them along. Now, when I say we have to take them along, it is, are we offering them solutions? To that, perhaps somewhere it is that we also have to go for farm mechanization. Maybe because of the farm size, our farmers can't afford it, but then can we think of hiring it, that give them the option that they can hire it, or not even hire it, we tell them that, okay, we'll harvest it for you. We'll take part of the agriculture residue with us, because we also need agriculture residue for ethanol production and so on. So it's with this case, which is going to be successful. And therefore, what I personally feel is that we have to give them permanent solutions. We have to harvest the agriculture residue and use it for gainful uses such as ethanol production. So I'll stop here and we'll come back again.
Right. We also have Balendu Shekhar, environmental advocate, now joining us in the broadcast as well. Thank you, Balendu, for being with us. Let me quickly take this also. Chandra Bhushan, President and CEO of iForest. Between penalizing farmers who are still indulging in crop stubble burning to taking them along and ensuring that they have the right resources that they don't resort to crop stubble burning, where do you lie in the entire spectrum of things, Chandra Bhushan?
That's a very simplistic way of looking at the problem. Whether you want to put them behind bar or you want to ignore them, it's a very simplistic way of looking at the problem. The problem, I think, the diagnosis of ours on why it is happening time and time again is something that we all are not able to grasp. Now, there are some fundamental that we need to understand. Number one, where is it that parali is being burnt? It is essentially the leftover which after the use of combined harvester. Okay. So it is actually a farm mechanization problem. It is not the lack of farm mechanization, but a technology which is not suitable for India, the kind of harvester we use, which leaves behind about half a foot of crop residue that we burn. So one, it's a technology problem. Number two, even if farmer is going to collect the residue, where is it? Is there a ready-made market linkage to take that residue? That's the second problem. The third problem is that the solution that we are giving, whether it is happy seeder or super seeder, is something that farmer has not adopted, are not convinced that it will work. And we have seen it time and time again. So I think let's get the diagnostics right and then work on the problem. Giving money, GST rebate on the kind of equipment that we are giving is not going to solve the problem. Putting farmers behind the bar is not going to solve the problem. It has to be a mix of couple of things that we need to do if we really want to solve it. Number one, think about farm technology, machine which is suitable for us. The combined harvester we use, as I said earlier, it has to cut much nearer to the ground than what it cuts today, which will ensure that very less residue is left on the ground. Number one. Number two, while the ethanol production is happening, there is demand for biomass. That linkage has to be made very, very strong so that the farmer generates and it is picked up by someone and he gets paid for it. And then number three, after you do these two things and still the farmer is still burning, then you think about penalizing. So it has to be a combination of solutions that we need to implement.
Okay. Combination of solutions that we need to implement. Balendu Shekhar, from the MS Swaminathan Committee recommendations days, of early 2000s to now, we've come a long way in terms of understanding the problem and finding solutions for it. And yet, here we are at the threshold of another crop stubble burning season. And this time around, the number of crop fires have outdone the previous year's numbers.
Certainly, that's the reality. But at the same time, as long as parali would be treated as a waste, this problem would always be there. So the solution which government time and again is trying to furnish to the farmer by promoting biomass or for ethanol, all these issues, until and unless that all those options would not be made sustainable for the farmer, and farmer would be attracted toward all those solutions, I think this problem can't be solved in any near future, because the legal issues has already been on. We are already litigating this very issue for last 5-7 years, and every year we are seeing the magnitude and the rampant crop burning is rising every other year. So I think unless and until solution is given to the farmer, I don't see any solution at this stage, because problem is that all these district administration, state administration, and the central, they all have to work in tandem and will have to give the solution to the farmer. And as long as that solution would be given to the farmer, I don't see that that very situation can be contained at this stage.
Dr. Vibha Dhawan, the simple question here at this stage is that, is everything done by the government in terms of providing the machinery, providing everything enough? Does it incentivize the farmers enough? The rebates that are given, the doles that are given to ensure that they can dispose of crop waste effectively better? Or do you think that the MS Swaminathan Committee report, which suggested something like the creation of the rice bioparks, where you convert the waste into a form of revenue for the farmer, can that be effectively implemented across the country?
See, what we have to check is, first of all, let me acknowledge that government is doing quite a bit in this direction.
Okay.
But what is happening is that we work in isolation. We are looking at the cost of treating the agriculture residue. We are not associating it with the human health. And with the result, it is that are these funds enough? And that is where I'll say we can do much better in terms of farm mechanization. Because whatever is the stubble which is left, can it be cut into smaller pieces, and that can become the bio manure for the crop itself? But then you require a seeder which will put the seed of wheat at a certain depth, and by the time the seed grows, this has already decayed, and therefore it's providing nutrition to the plant. The other thing is that it is the value chain that we have to see in totality. It is not, because many times it is that the cost of carrying this residue to the either ethanol factory or elsewhere, or for making plywood or whatever, it becomes too high. And with the result, not many companies are interested in buying from far off places. And therefore, we have to work out the entire value chain. It is wasted material. It is not waste material. It contains lignin, cellulose, and so on, which can be converted into ethanol. It also can be converted into the other useful materials, including biogas plant. We do have technology to use rice husk as well as the residue to some extent, if you mix it properly. So today it is being wasted, but we have to develop systems. We have to ensure that even if you're spending money on transportation, it is well spent rather than burning it in the field. So it can be developed.
Okay, Chandra Bhushan, your take on the matter. What can be the best, solution at this stage to protect the people of Delhi in the National Capital Region for the upcoming winter season?
Well, every year we start by saying that we need to do something this year. The solution, the problem of this scale cannot be solved in a couple of weeks or month, or for that matter,
can it be reduced? Can it be mitigated better this year so that we find long-term solutions eventually?
Certainly, it can be mitigated better by better enforcement. That is the short-term what is there. But as Bibha said, and rightly so, that unless and until we convert it into an economic opportunity for everyone, across the value chain. It is not only about farmer, it is also about processor who is going to make money, the transporter who is going to pick it up. So across the value chain, we make it a profitable venture for everyone, then it will work. But I also very strongly believe that, a lot of technology, no-till technology, for example, or in situ technology that we are promoting are long-term technology. Historically, Indian agriculture is a tillage agriculture. For thousands of years, Indians have used tillage agriculture. We have not used no-till agriculture. Okay. So for farmer to now say we want to use in situ technology to tackle this problem, it is becoming very difficult. It's a cultural block as well. So we have to think about what we can do in ex situ, which is how do we take the stubble out of the ground and then give it to a processor to process it into ethanol or biogas. Also, because right now we are making most of our ethanol from food crop, okay, and we have a wasted material, as we were rightly said, which can be utilized, and that's a great opportunity. So yes, I do see if we start working hard. We have done some work. We continue at a larger pace for a couple of years. We will be able to solve it. In short term, I do not see much hope other than better enforcement.
Okay, better enforcement is the only solution for the short term, but for the long term is concerned, Chandra Bhushan, things like, better minimum support price for the farmers, that will ensure that there is not too much pressure on farmers to burn the crop stubble and have enough time to dispose them off in better ways, in ecologically better ways, are also going to be important for the long term, isn't it?
Can I tell you, I think we have to tread this path very carefully. It is not only about Punjab, Haryana and UP. Stubble burning is becoming a pan-India problem. We now see that happening in Odisha. We see that happening in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, part of southern India. Now, it means that once you get into the practice of giving money to farmer to stop burning the stubble, think what is the implications. It is not about Delhi. Also, please understand, it is not only about Delhi's air pollution that this is a problem. It is a pan-India problem. We need to find a pan-India solution. Lot of time we make it only about Delhi, which is where the problem is. Okay. So I think we need to be careful about these kind of policy prescriptions.
Balendu Shekhar, tell us what is the ideal policy prescription, that which can be implemented, enforced over a period of time so that we actually find a solution, because as Chandrabhushan rightly put, we're really discussing Delhi-NCR right now because of the fires that are growing in Punjab and Haryana, but this is a national problem.
See, as Mr. Bhushan as well as Dr. Dhawan rightly raised all these issues, but at the same time, this very problem is there for last several years. And that's why time and again, it has been suggested that long-time measures and short-time measures, both measures has to go simultaneously on the ground. And as far as short measure is concerned, because right now, as the season has already begun and we need solution. So for that matter, at this stage, in my view, that there are already policy which has already been initiated by the central government. And if the state government is really very serious and they ensure all their district magistrate and district level enforcement agency to monitor all these things to mitigate and to minimize, they can certainly do that by ensuring that all those farmers must be made aware and must be given adequate incentive not to go for that line. And I think that is the real solution, and that solution can only be exercised at this juncture, because of course a sustainable solution we can't achieve in such a short time period. But at the same time, if the state government is really very serious and there all those district level enforcement agencies become really very vigilant, because at this stage we have real-time pictures across India. And as Mr. Bhusan rightly raised, that this is not the problem of only North India. Every state is almost having the similar kind of situation. So at this stage, as we are already getting the real-time data, real-time picture with the help of satellite, and if the state government is really serious, then with the assistance of the district level officers, they can easily minimize this very crisis at this stage. Of course, for long-time solution, the central government is very serious. They have already promoted various schemes. Biomass and ethanol issues are already being propagated in a very big and very wide way. But at the same time, to bring all those schemes and all those measures on the ground, it really takes time. But as far as this very problem is concerned, at this stage, I think district level involvement is very essential. And until and unless district magistrate do not become serious, I don't think that we would get any solution in such a short period of time. So, in my view, state government as well as central government both must go together to contain this very problem, and district level magistrate must become more serious to mitigate this very crisis at this stage. Simultaneously, all those legal issues and by filing, lodging criminal FIR and all such other legal measures can go simultaneously. But to minimize and to mitigate and to reduce such crisis, I think the involvement of district level administration is very essential at this juncture.
Dr. Vibha Dhawan, the involvement of district level administration is one important point that Balendu Shekhar is making. The other is something which is sounds complicated right at the outset, which is great coordination between the central government and state governments, because that is the way we are able to do that when it comes to, say, a GST, the coordination between the center and the state and the improvement over a period of time. That's the kind of gargantuan effort that's going to be needed from center state coordination for us to find any kind of real solution.
You're absolutely right, because one is what is there for me, and the farmer's question usually is, you also keep on driving the cars, and why are you putting pressure on me? And the other problem, because it can be administered, but at the same time, why can't we look at other opportunities like carbon credits? Because let's also keep in mind, we have to take care of our farmer. We have to give them schemes whereby he makes money. And parali burning, or if he takes care of his agriculture residue in a proper way, it can be used for organic paramparagat krishi, as well as it can earn him carbon credits in the long run. So it is win-win. So he's financially benefited, and we should move in that direction. because no amount of policing is going to help us. And you don't know, because there can be that if I don't like my neighbor farmer and I'll actually burn his field so that he will be penalized. Let's not get into penalizing. We have to take them as partners. We have to convince them. We have to give them better options so that they become partner with you in ensuring that nothing is burnt and every uh, crop residue is actually used in the proper way, and it gives him wealth. He can earn wealth through it.
Okay, Mr. Chandra Bhushan, at this stage, what I would ask you is that technology is able to find solutions for so many things, so many problems affecting mankind. Can technology provide solutions? Say technologies like happy seeders or in situ and ex situ residue mobilization. Can they be the solution provider in a situation like this?
Absolutely. I think one of the key solution is technology. And as I said, one of the major technology changes we need is in the design of combined harvesters. I'm not a big fan of in situ technology because we have tried it for 10 years. We have given subsidy of couple of thousands of crore rupees to Punjab and Haryana to get these equipments. They're lying there. They are not being used. In fact, farmers have now learned how to cheat satellite and avoid detection of farm fire that we saw last year. So, I think we need to learn from a decade of experimentation with these technologies and think about something that will work. And as I said, some of the farm technology requires really innovation. But the point I also want to make is, frankly, it is not a central government problem. It is a state issue. Okay, agricultural land is a state subject. Now, if state governments are not interested in taking, and finding solution, center can at the maximum incentivize, provide some money and support. But it is up to the state. We need to hold states responsible. They are accountable for this. Whether it is any state, I'm not saying only Punjab, Haryana, Uttar, every state where farm fire is happening, they need to be made responsible for this. Agriculture is the only sector where there is no environmental norm. It is important to understand. Any sector of the economy you pick up, there is an environmental law. Agriculture is the only sector there is no environmental law. How fair it is. So I think we now need to rethink how we want to save our ecology, how we want to build our economy. These are very important discussions. There's no shortcut answer to these problems.
There is no shortcuts. There is no silver bullet. Balendra Shekhar, if it is only a matter of getting state governments together, you have Haryana, you have Uttar Pradesh, and you have Delhi, where you have the same dispensation. So no better time than now.
See, the problem, of course, we all know the kind of problem which prevails. But at the same time, the plight of farmer, we should also gaze from their perspective. Because, see, the problem of the farmer is that right now their kharif crop is there in the field. And they have to shift from kharif to rabi. And they will hardly get 15 or 20 days or at max 1 month time to get their field ready for that very crop. So for them, time is very crucial and time is very essential to go for the next type of crop pattern. So for that matter, as I said, that unless and until farmer is compensated or farmer is made lucrative to not go for that kind of this very parali burning, this very problem will always remain there. And that's why, as I said on the very onset, that until and unless this very waste is converted into a revenue for them, I don't see that there would be any solution on the ground. And for that matter, involvement of the state government is very essential. And as Mr. Bhushan rightly said, that it's completely a state subject because agriculture is a state subject. And the involvement of state is very crucial. But at the same time, at best, what center can give, center can allocate some fund, and I think for North India, they had already indicated some partial amount of fund for disbursing those fund to the targeted farmers. So I think government is really trying their best, but at the same time, until and unless all the state government become really serious to mitigate this very problem very carefully, cautiously, and with the perspective of the farmer, because the farmers' stakes would also be taken into account, because they have to shift from Kharif to Rabi, and they will hardly get this very 15-20 days time period. And for them, at best, they will certainly go and do whatever they may do on the field for making their field ready to go for the Rabi crop. So involvement of state government is very essential, and the state government must be more cautious, careful, vigilant to mitigate this very problem on the ground.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Dr. Vibha Dhawan, Director General TERI, Chandrabhushan, President and CEO, iForest, and Balendu Shekhar, Environmental Advocate. Thank you all of you for taking time out to be with us here.